Hello, everyone, and welcome to Finance Conversation. This is the 64th episode of the Merging Life and Money Show, and I am delighted to be here today. For those of you who do not know me, I am your host, Marie-Jo César. I help professional women bridge the gap between life and money by teaching them the relevant skills and knowledge they need to take control of their money, manage their finances, and understand that they can live their best life with the money they have. Thank you for joining in today. If you are watching the replay, make sure to type #replay in the chat and leave me some comments and questions. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. I come to you live every Thursday. My God, I can't even talk today. At 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to share valuable information about how to achieve financial wellness and live your life with means and meaning. Today, my special guest, a regular contributor to the show, Eric Dudley, will be talking about Social Security and what you should know about it. That is what we'll be spending the next 30 minutes or more talking about. So Eric, good afternoon. Eric is an independent, experienced, holistic financial advisor whose specialties are retirement planning, investing solution, and life insurance in particular. He does other things too. Eric is also the founder and president of Dudley Financial Group. And I must note that one of Dudley's Financial Group's main goals is to help their clients build their best tomorrow while protecting them today. Also, Eric is a frequent contributor to the Merging Life and Money Show. Thanks, Eric, for your contribution. And welcome to the Merging Life and Money Show, and welcome followers and listeners. Thank you for joining in today. So grab a pen and a notebook, as you might want to take some notes to discuss them further with family members, friends, and colleagues, because it is about sharing values that could benefit others. And this is a very important topic for Americans in particular. And those, you don't need to be 60 to be listening to this, because retirement is something that we prepared from early on, and Social Security plays a big part into it. So if you have any comments and questions, make sure to type them in the chat. And for those of you who do not know, the main objective of the Merging Life and Money Show, and my very strong why, is to empower as many women as I can with what I know about money and finance. So today we will be talking about, as I said, Social Security. And before I turn it to Eric, I just want to give the show some context, okay? So Social Security is a government program that provides means of retirement, disability, and death benefit to citizens and legal residents of the United States, okay? The program began in 1935 as the nation's response to the plight of its elderly. Now, remember now, 1935, we were in the middle of the Great Depression. It was created to provide financial security to Americans who may not have had enough money saved up to support themselves in retirement. So till today, the program is intended to provide a base of protection and benefits are financed primarily through dedicated payroll taxes paid by the workers and by their employers. So, and also I would say that Eric will get into it and explain it totally. I would say that Social Security benefits are determined based on the individual's contributions and the amount of time that have passed since the individual first became eligible for the benefits. So while the program's fundamental has remained the same over the past, 97 years, lots have changed because Americans' work and life patterns have changed, right? So while it has retained its essential characteristics, Social Security has evolved to keep pace with the times and have been adapted to meet current expectations to a certain extent. And Eric will explain that. So today, believe it or not, an average of 65 million Americans receive monthly Social Security benefits totaling over $1 trillion, with a T as in Tom, $1 trillion. And Social Security is one of the most important source of income for many Americans and the largest social welfare program in the world. So let us take a closer look at the Social Security program in the US. And for that, Eric, the specialist, will cover 3 main points: the basics of Social Security, how to calculate your Social Security benefits, and when to claim your Social Security benefits. So now let's take a look at point 1. So Eric, tell us about the basics of Social Security.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks for having me on again, MJ. It's a pleasure. Social Security is a great topic to talk about because pretty much, everybody in America, they are most people live to be about 79 to 82 years old. So that means that you're going to wind up receiving Social Security at some point, and you might receive Social Security for as much as 20 years on average. So it's going to dominate your life as far as how you get paid and how you pay your bills. So understanding Social Security is really important. And honestly, there needs to be a class so that everybody really understands it. Certainly before retirement, but even as you're going in retirement or going while you're working, because how you get Social Security and how much you get of Social Security depends upon what you do while you work. In order to qualify to receive the benefits of Social Security, you have to work about 10 years worth of employment at a full-time rate. So once you've done that, you are now vested into Social Security. And by doing that, you're going to be able to receive, whenever you get to be 65 or 62, if you want to take it early, a certain amount of Social Security wages. So it's important to know, I mean, you're going to be, the more that you're able to make while you're earning money, the more you'll be able to draw from Social Security once you start drawing. Okay. So it's important. And that's the reason why I say you should know about how you're going to receive Social Security early on so that you can make sure that you're going to receive as much as you can. As you can see, up on the chart just a second ago.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. Well, I was going to talk about, as you can see, Social Security, whenever it was first brought up in 1935, people were living to be in their early 60s. So when they had the Social Security program, it was really for people that were living, as long as they should have, and possibly the ones that were lucky enough to live a few years longer. Of course, back then there was much more disease. There was less medications that you could take, and the average lifespan was about 15 to 20 years less than it is now. Totally. And so whenever they made Social Security, they were thinking, hey, we're going to be able to cover it, cover the cost of it, because, most people won't even receive Social Security. A lot of people die before they even get to it. And, but that's not the case anymore because of modern medicine and the ability for our country to feed everybody and to be able to, not have problems because of that. Our average lifespan has gone way up. And because of that, the age of our country has gotten much older. And now you have a lot more people on Social Security. As a matter of fact, it used to be that there was literally dozens of people for each person to support that one retiree. Okay. So they would be all the people that were working would pour their money in, and one retiree would be able to reap the rewards of that. while he was in, or he or she was in retirement. But that's not the case anymore. Now it's like 2 people for every retiree. Okay.
How
And so
times have changed.
right. It is much different, and it's going to be hard to keep it solvent. And as a matter of fact, they're talking about Social Security fund running out in 2034. Well,
Mhm.
now the question is, do I believe that the Social Security fund will run out? Well, no, I don't. Okay, I don't, because our government has shown time and time again it is willing to print money in order to fund it. Okay, so I believe that's part of what they will do, but also they will probably change some of the regulations. Okay, right now you can retire at 62 and get partial benefits, and you get full retirement at 67. It's very likely that at some point they're going to move the full retirement to 70, and they're probably going to move the partial retirement to 65. That's very likely to happen.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah, let's put it this way: it's not going to be something that the U.S. government is looking. I mean, Switzerland been at 67 for a while.
Yeah,
I mean, because as you said, the way of life is much better. The advancement in medical field is affording us longer, healthy lives. So the narrative has to change a little bit. Yeah. So sorry to cut you off, but I just wanted to add that about Switzerland.
No, it's great. And if you really think about it, Social Security is a pension, okay, or an annuity, either way you can say, and it's supposed to last you for the rest of your life. People love pensions and annuities because of that, and lifetime guaranteed income. But of course, like I said, the government wasn't planning on funding it for 20 years. They were planning on funding it for 2 or 3 years, but now it's changed. So what they're probably going to do is move the year whenever you can actually start taking it back, so they wind up having less years to be able to fund people, and that will definitely solve a lot of the problems.
Good. So you did. In fact, I was going to ask you that question about would Social Security run out, but you already
sorry about that.
And respond. No, that's okay. Responded to it. That's fine, because we need to know that, because this could be a source of stress for people, and I could tell you the millennial, that's just a preferred song. Like, okay, we're paying into this pay as you go type of fund, and when my turn comes to retire, chances are that I'm not going to be able to cash in. So so I'm glad that you excuse me, clarify that a little bit. But I have another question for you on the whole basics of Social Security, because whilst, sorry, I'm not an American citizen, but I've been following up the whole situation about, pension and retirement. That's my field. My question is to you now. It's I'm hearing a lot of talks, and this is not recently, about the idea of privatizing Social Security. What is your take on that?
Well, I think that it would be great. First of all, if you could actually privatize it, the money would actually be owned by the person who's working for it. It wouldn't be owned by the government, which would be really nice, because then you could set up a legacy to be able to give to your spouse, to be able to give to your children when you pass away. Plus, you would be able to have different investment options, which would be really good, and hopefully get a better return than what Social Security usually brings about, which is about 2% on your money. Do I think that will happen? No, I don't, because that is political dynamite right there. I know as soon as you start touching they call it the third rail of politics.
Yeah.
You don't want to touch that one, because it'll electrocute you. It is political dynamite. It will blow up in your face.
That's a serious matter there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, which brings me to the second point, since basically workers and employers are contributing into that fund, Social Security fund, which is administered by the Social Security Administration. Tell me, how are those benefit calculated?
Well, okay. Like I said earlier, it's you have to qualify for it first by working an average of like 10 years at full time wages, and then once you've done that, you're now vested. And then they qualify for how much you actually will make by averaging up your highest 35-year salary. Okay, they look at that, and so they take all your salaries for each year according to the IRS, and then they'll average it out, or they add it up, and you divide it by 35, and there you go. That's how much they're going to say is your wages, and then you're going to get a percentage of that from Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that percentage that you get will be determined by when you decide to start taking it. And just like any annuity, just like any pension, if you take it earlier, you're going to get less. And if you take it later, you're going to get more. And so can you show that chart real quick?
The one that I had up earlier?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, sure.
And so whenever you start taking Social Security, okay. Now, if you were born between 1943 and 1954, the full retirement age, meaning that you would get 100% of what Social Security is supposed to pay, would be 66 years old. But then, starting in 1955, they started moving that age up. Okay, so 1955, as you can see, 66 in 2 months, 1956 in 4 months, 57 in 6 months, and then all the way up until 1960, where it becomes 67, and that's where the full retirement age is now. And what it says on the right-hand side of that column is if you start taking your Social Security at 62, that is the percentage right underneath there that you will get reduced from full retirement. So let's just take some easy numbers here. Suppose if a person was going to get $1,000 a month at 66 because they were born in 1943, but they decided to take their retirement at 62. Okay, so they're going to get 25% less. That means that instead of $1,000 a month, they would get $750 a month. Okay. So that makes a big difference. I mean, that $250 per month is pretty substantial. Then you look at 1955, and all of a sudden the math gets much harder for me, and I won't be able to do this so easy. But if you retire at 66 and if you retire at 62, you would get reduced 25.83. Again, that would even be more than or even less than $750. So each year it goes down to where that in 1960, and now anybody born after that would have a 30% reduction. So if for instance, I was born after 1960, if I were to get $1,000 at 67 and I retired at 62, I would only receive $700. So 30% reduction.
So basically, what you are saying here, Eric, is that in order to get your full benefit, you have to wait until 67.
Yes, okay. That's right. Now, one thing that's really cool, though, and this is something that if you can do it, then you should do it. Okay, is that if you don't mind working, okay, and if your body can handle it, and if you really enjoy what you're doing, and you say, I don't want to retire at 62, and I don't even want to retire at 67, I want to work until I'm 70. So Social Security gives you a bonus for the 3 years between 67, 68, and 69 that you work. You'll receive an 8% increase over full benefits each year by working those years and not taking Social Security. So that means that if you retire when you're 70, you will not receive 100%. You'll receive 124% of your Social Security, which is great, because that means, again, if I again, same example, if I could get Social Security for $1,000 a month at 67, that means now I would receive $1,240 per month at 70. Really great. I mean, that makes a lot of difference in retirement. And if you like working and if you're healthy, why not?
Okay. So that's good to know. because I know, and when you work for so many years, you can wait to get your hand on that Social Security check. But what you're saying really is that if you like what you're doing, you are healthy, which is important, and you can continue doing what you're doing, you might as well press on. And so that when you do decide to exit the workforce, you would have Social Security plus a bonus, basically.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, and pardon my ignorance if I'm talking out of tune here, can an employer force you to retire?
Well, employers can. I mean, sure, they can fire you, but that doesn't mean that you have to stop working and start taking Social Security. You can go out and get another job, or let's just say you have money saved. You don't have to start taking Social Security until you actually decide to. It's up to you.
Okay, so that's entirely up to the soon to be retiree to decide whether or not they want to carry on until age 70. That's what you're saying, right? In order to get that 124+% of benefits.
And I mean, because I just thought about doing that, so I looked on my calculator, and I was like, I wonder. So, okay, let's just say I retire at 62, okay, and make only $700 a month, compared to if I retire at 70 and make $1,240 a month. Retiring at 62 is only 56.45% of what I could make at 70. I mean, it's literally almost half.
It's a huge difference.
It is a big difference. Yes.
And it doesn't get adjusted when you actually turn 67.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Which leads us into the third point of today's show. And my next question to you is that when to take your benefits, and you touched on it already, and you have a chart that reflects that. I will show it as well. And I have a few questions around that somewhat. I wanted to know what happened to your benefits when let's assume that you die. We will die eventually. So what happened to the benefits? I mean, if let's say you retire at 67 and 70, you're gone. And you worked for I don't know how many years, and you have quite a bit of contribution in the pot. So once you answer your main question, I would like for you to tell me what happens when that happens. So do you want to see the chart before the other chart that you?
Well, you can show that in just a minute. But as far as what your question is, if you're married and you and your spouse both are receiving Social Security, the surviving spouse gets to keep the larger of the two Social Security checks. So that's great. But unfortunately, that means that they were receiving two checks. They were already receiving the larger one, and they were also receiving the smaller one. They won't get to keep both of them now. So that means that person is going to be taking a big pay cut. And that's one of the things that contributes to a lot of women in this case, being impoverished during retirement, because as soon as that happens, you may not be able to pay your bills, and because of that. And then also and they also do have a small death benefit to take care of final expenses, but it's really not enough to take care of final expenses today.
Okay. So that I understand correctly. So if you're both retirees, both husband and wife retired, husband dies, before wife. So wife would have to pick. Let me go back a bit. So while the husband was alive, they had two Social Security checks coming in.
Yeah.
Right. Husband dies. Wife has to make a choice. I won't say a choice, but she would select the larger Social Security check.
Mm-hmm.
So so I understand now what you say by saying, okay, you're getting a cut in salary, so
Yeah,
a
yeah.
cut in income. I mean, it's kind of part of your retirement salary, if I could put it this way. So that's again, that's very important to realize that Social Security is only one of the many legs
Mm-hmm.
that will support you when you are in retirement.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me now what you wanted to touch on. Um, I guess you probably talked about it already.
Oh,
Uh,
if you could show that chart, that
yeah,
would be.
I could show that
Okay.
certainly. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, this is a great
In
chart.
fact, I'm
Okay.
going to make it bigger.
Now the question is, when do you want to start taking Social Security benefits? And the answer is, well, it's up to you. I mean, when do you need it? When do you want it? How long are you going to live? When do you want to stop working? All of those questions are really up to you. But of course, there's going to be, advantages and disadvantages to taking it early or even taking it late. It just depends. Like, just to give you an example, if a person were, let's just say, in not good health, okay, and maybe they have different diseases that run through their family, heart disease, diabetes, whatever, and they're 62 years old, already don't feel good, would I recommend that they wait until 70 until they start taking it? Absolutely not. No, I'd go ahead and start taking it early, because you may not get a chance to take it late. And so if you have genes, on the other hand, that, hey, you've got 8 or 9 relatives that that lived into their 90s, you're feeling great, you exercise, you eat right, all of the things that the actuaries and the insurance company would say, yes, you're going to live a long time, then you probably will. And so taking it late might wind up making you a lot more money in benefits. So as you can see on this chart, if you look at where it says, if you started taking it at 62, then at 70 you would have already, in this example, already made $134,400 whenever you hit 70. And you can see, if you started taking it at 64, it's about $20,000 less. At 66, another $25,000 less. And at 70, it says you haven't taken any yet. Okay, so that's just showing you, hey, look, this person has a choice. They take it at 62, whatever, or in each age down. And at 70, you haven't gotten anything yet. But you can see that by 75, the person who took it at 62 is at 215,000, but the person who took it at 70 is already at 150,000, and they're catching up fast. And by the time they hit 80, they've almost caught up completely. Now the person who took it at 62 has 302,000, and now the person at 70 has almost 300,000. And by 85, it's not even close. The person who took it at 70 is making way more money. So as you can see, I mean, as far as just getting benefits go, if you want to get the most benefits and you think you're going to live long, take it at 70. Right. If you don't think that you're going to live long, take it earlier.
Right. So what I would say is that you got to take into consideration, you have to do some good planning on the Social Security aspect of your retirement income. And I guess the main operator there is how healthy you are. And sometimes some people come from some good genes, right? And they hang on for a bit. And I don't think that Social Security like those kinds too much. But but it is what it is. Okay. So Eric, thank you so much, because it's a lot more to know about Social Security, but at least you touch on the very basic point that people planning for their retirement ought to know. And even you are not close to that, you would be well advised to have a good hygiene of life, so that you could hang on and be able to work as long as you would want to, as long as permissible under, the Social Security regime, instead of people saying, I can't wait to retire and get my Social Security check. So it is not in your advantage if you are healthy and you're able to still continue and carry on to be too much in a hurry to take it. But again, I would say it's all based off everyone's circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So thank you again, and I'm going to wind down some. It's already 30 minutes after the hour. So today we talked about the basics of Social Security. We talked about how to calculate your Social Security benefit and when to claim your Social Security benefits. So as I see it, Social Security is one of the most important, I would say, safety nets for retirees in the United States, right? But there are a lot of misconceptions about how the system works, and you have proven that this afternoon. For example, many people believe that they will automatically receive their full benefits when they retire. And you showed that this is not always the truth. However, the amount you receive is based on your earnings history and the age at which you retire. So if you retire early, your benefit will be reduced. And it is also important to understand that Social Security is not a savings account, and benefits are not based on how much you have contributed over your lifetime, right? Instead, Social Security is as you go, is a more of a pay as you go type of system, and benefits are based on your earnings history. So this means that if you stop working, your benefit will stop as well. So Social Security is not designated, or I should say, it's not designed to be your sole source of income in retirement. All right. So the average benefit is only currently about $17,000 per year. So if you want to maintain your standard of living, you will need to supplement your Social Security with other source of income. All right. So if your employer has a 401k, you may want to maximize that. If not, you would want to have your Roth IRA or your IRA going on as well. And in addition to that, you would want to have your long-term saving in tow, because usually they talk about the three-legged stool when getting ready for retirement. So given all of this, it is crucial that you understand how the system works and how much you can rely on it before making any decisions about retirement. Otherwise, you could end up facing a significant financial shortfall in retirement. So I would therefore recommend that you contact Eric for help understanding your options and making the best decision for you and your family. So again, thank you for listening today. And before I forget, Eric, could you please tell the audience how they can reach out to you? I have a banner for you, so you may not have to say it. I will just show it. Okay. Let's see. I do have it here. Let me show that. Is that Eric? Yes, it is. So I will let it run for the rest of the show. So, well, this brings us to the end of today's Merging Life and Money's episode. And truly, listeners and followers, I do hope that you enjoyed today's show and that you now understand a bit more about the ins and outs of Social Security. Okay, so as you know, I like to end my show with a quote, and today I selected one from a businesswoman by the name of Sue Kelly, and it reads: "Social Security is the very foundation of retirement security for millions of Americans." And by the way, Sue Kelly is an American businesswoman. And she's also a politician. I would say she's passed 85 now, and she's a former Republican member of the United States House of Representatives. Thank you, Eric, for your awesome contribution to the show today. We will meet again, I'm sure. And we have a few things in store coming up soon. So again, thanks, Eric, for your contribution today. For more about how to achieve financial wellness from the inside out and live a life of purpose with the money that you have, join me next week, Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Atlantic Time for my Bermudian pips, and 10 a.m. Friday morning, Brisbane, Australia time. So thank you for being here today on the Merging Life and Money Show. I am your host, Marie-Jo César. I will be back again next week. Until then, continue merging life and money. Bye for now.